The dropship rattled as it descended through the amber atmosphere of Kelthera Prime. Marine Corporal James Parker gripped his rifle tighter, watching the volcanic landscape rush up to meet them. This was supposed to be a simple extraction. Mission: retrieve the human diplomats from the embassy. Before the Keltheron Civil War. Consume the capital entirely. 30 seconds, the pilot. Announced. James checked his squad. 5 Marines, all veterans, all ready. They had done this 100 times before on a dozen different worlds. Humanity had spread across the stars, but conflict followed like a shadow. The ship touched down in the embassy courtyard. Plasma fire streaked overhead as 2 Keltheron factions battled in the streets beyond the walls. The Marines moved in formation, their boots crunching on volcanic gravel. Contact left, someone shouted. A squad of Keltheron warriors burst through the eastern gate. They were tall, elegant beings with crystalline skin that refracted light in dazzling patterns. Their ornate armor gleamed despite the ash falling from the sky. But these were not friendlies. Their weapons were raised, and their intent was clear. James dropped to one knee, returning fire. The courtyard erupted into chaos. His squad scattered, seeking cover behind stone pillars and ornamental gardens. The Keltherans moved with fluid grace, their movements almost dance-like as they advanced. One warrior broke through the line, charging directly at James. She was different from the others. Her armor bore intricate golden patterns that marked her as nobility. Her hair, long and black with streaks of silver, flowed behind her like a banner. In her hands, she wielded a plasma blade that hummed with deadly energy. James rolled sideways as she struck. The blade carved through the stone pillar where he had been kneeling. He came up firing, but she deflected his shots with impossible precision. They circled each other in the chaos, warriors and Marines clashing all around them. She lunged again. James sidestepped and brought his combat knife up in a desperate parry. The blade caught her hair instead of her weapon. Time seemed to slow. A thick section of her silver-streaked locks fell to the ground, severed cleanly by the monomolecular edge. The warrior froze. Her eyes, violet and luminous, widened in shock. She dropped her weapon. The plasma blade clattered against the stones. "No," she whispered in heavily accented English. "What have you done?" James kept his knife raised, confused but wary. Around them, the fighting continued, but she made no move to attack. Instead, she slowly sank to her knees, her gaze fixed on the fallen strands of hair. "Are you surrendering?" James asked, his weapon still trained on her. "I am Liara of House Velmond," she said quietly. "You have severed my oath bond. By the ancient laws of my people, I am now bound to serve you until death takes one of us." "That's not how this works," James said. "Just stay down and you'll be taken as a prisoner of war." "You do not understand." She looked up at him, and he saw something beyond shock in her eyes. Resignation, perhaps, or a strange kind of peace. "Among my people, our hair is sacred. It grows only once, from childhood to maturity. To have it cut by another's hand is to surrender one's oath to them. I am no longer a warrior of House Velmond. I am yours." A plasma bolt sizzled past James's head. He grabbed Liara by the arm and pulled her behind cover. The fighting was intensifying. His squad leader was shouting for evacuation. "Listen, we don't have time for cultural misunderstandings," James said. "We're leaving. You can come as a prisoner or stay here and die in this courtyard. Your choice." "I will follow you," she said simply. The extraction was a nightmare. 2 Marines were wounded. The diplomats were scattered across 3 floors of the embassy. By the time they fought their way back to the dropship, the entire district was ablaze. Liara moved with them, unarmed but uncomplaining, following James like a shadow. On the ship back to the human carrier, The commander wanted answers. "Explain to me why we have an enemy combatant in medical receiving treatment alongside our people," Commander Williams said. His jaw tight. James stood at attention. "Sir, she claims some kind of cultural bond was formed when I accidentally cut her hair in combat. She's been cooperative and hasn't shown any hostility since." Cultural bond. Williams rubbed his temples. "We're in the middle of facilitating peace talks, Parker. The last thing we need is an interstellar incident because you gave someone an unwanted haircut." "Sir, I didn't intend—" "I know what you intended, Corporal. Get back to your quarters. I'll have intelligence debrief her." The debriefing took 3 days. James heard bits and pieces through the shipboard gossip network. Liara had confirmed her story. The Keltheron oath bond was real, documented in their historical records. When a warrior's hair was severed in combat, they became bound to serve the one who cut it. It was an ancient tradition, dating back thousands of years to when the Keltheron clans first formed. What surprised everyone was that Liara was not just any warrior. She was third in line to lead House Velman, one of the most powerful families in the Keltheron collective. Her capture, or rather her binding, had significant diplomatic implications. James was summoned to the diplomatic suite on day 4. He expected more questions, perhaps a reprimand for causing an interstellar incident. Instead, he found Liara waiting, dressed in simple clothes rather than armor. "They say you requested to see me," James said. "I did." She stood, graceful despite the unfamiliar surroundings. "Your superiors have explained that humans do not recognize the oath bond. They have offered to return me to my people as part of the peace negotiations. That's good, right? You can go home. I cannot." She met his eyes, and he saw the determination there. "Whether your people recognize it or not, the bond is real. I am no longer of House Velman. If I return, I will be cast out, perhaps executed for abandoning my oath. The only honorable path is to serve you." "That's insane." "I don't need a servant, and I definitely don't need someone bound to me by some ancient tradition." "It is not about what you need," Liara said patiently. "It is about what I am. A warrior without an oath is nothing among my people. You gave me a new oath, whether you intended to or not." Over the following weeks, James tried to ignore the situation. The fleet moved to neutral space for peace talks. The war on Kelthera Prime cooled as negotiations progressed. But Liara remained, assigned to the ship as a cultural liaison. Once it became clear she would not leave. She was impossible to avoid. She appeared whenever James needed something he did not know he needed. She learned human customs with startling speed. She trained with the Marines, impressing even the toughest veterans with her combat skills. And always, she deferred to James in a way that made him deeply uncomfortable. "You need to stop this," James told her one evening in the mess hall. "I'm not your master or your lord or whatever you think I am. I think you are the one who holds my oath," Liara said calmly. "Nothing more, nothing less. Then I release you from it. They're done. It does not work that way. Only death can break an oath bond." James slammed his tray down. "This is ridiculous. You're a person, not property. You should be free to make your own choices." "I am making my own choice," Liara said, and for the first time he heard steel in her voice. "You think I am diminished by this bond? I am not. Among my people, to serve with honor is the highest calling. I was born to lead armies, but fate has given me a different path. I choose to walk it with dignity." The peace talks succeeded. The Keltheron Civil War ended with a unified government. House Velman sent a formal communication acknowledging Liara's new status and requesting that she be treated with the respect due her sacrifice. It was a strange formal document that made James's head hurt. Commander Williams called him in one final time before the fleet departed Keltheron. Space. The Keltherans have made it. Clear that Liara's presence with you is actually helping. Diplomatic relations, William said. It shows that we respect their customs, even when they're inconvenient. Intelligence wants to keep her on as a permanent liaison, which means she'll be assigned to whatever unit you're in, Parker. Sir, I never asked for any of this. No, you didn't. But that's life in the service. Adapt and overcome, Marine. Months passed. James was reassigned to a patrol frigate on the frontier. Liara came with him, her status now official, cultural liaison and specialist in Keltheron affairs. She trained with the crew, advised on interactions with Keltheron merchants and diplomats, and saved the ship twice when her knowledge of Keltheron technology prevented catastrophic failures. And gradually, James began to understand. This was not slavery or servitude in the way humans conceived it. Liara had chosen honor over comfort, duty over freedom. She had taken an accident and transformed it into purpose. One evening, as they reviewed star charts in preparation for a patrol near Keltheron space, James finally asked the question that had bothered him for months. Do you regret it? Any of it? Liara looked up from the charts. Her hair had grown slightly, though it would never reach its former length. Regret? No. I miss my family, my home. But I do not regret following my oath. It has shown me things I never would have seen, taught me truths I never would have learned. Your people are strange, James Parker, but you are not without honor. Even though I took your freedom, you gave me purpose, she corrected. Freedom without purpose is just another kind of prison. The stars wheeled past the viewport, countless and cold. Some